Happy Wednesday, March 15th, 2023. Not in the Digibug, but next to the Digibug. Today, Ides of March. Beware the Ides of March. Et tu, Brute? Et tu? Dramatization of the whole Julius Caesar thing, to which this infamous date is attributed. The assassination of Julius Caesar in 44 BC by Brutus and some other senators, taking him out. Too much power. So that was the end of the Republic. Then we had the Roman Empire. We're watching the Roman Empire right now with the collapse of the United States system. And it's, the whole thing is, it's a structure. It's not a constitutional thing. It's all just illusory and make-believe, and it's just up to us to participate in it or not. We use their money. We put money in that bank, that SVB bank. We put money in that signature bank. We put money in all those banks. We're feeding that system, that beast system, that vampire casino. So, get out of it. Got a lot of people asking me about, hey, is Litecoin, how low is Litecoin going to go? And I noticed that, it took a dip. I got to give you an update on my Litecoin escapades. Not ice-capades, escapades. But, people are thinking, is Litecoin going to go down? Is it going to go to $36? Is it going to go to an all-time low? I'm going to say no. And the reason why I say no is because I think people are going to start looking for sound, safe assets. And the traditional system, you're going to have people looking, well, I'm going to buy treasuries. Well, I'm going to put my money in JP Morgan. I'm going to put it in the safest place possible. That's where I want to put my money. And I'm thinking, at what point do you realize that those aren't safe? They're just part of the casino, and they'll just make new poker chips to back up the existing poker chips that you don't have in your possession because you gave it away to a vampire bank or a vampire government. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. So that's why crypto is important, defined by math. Whereas our monetary supply, our money, not defined by math. One is finite, crypto. One is infinite, fiat, Federal Reserve notes. Anyway. Once you get your head around that, then you're looking for assets. And it just takes more people to wake up to it and understand what the reality of that is. Anyway, here we are at the almost midpoint in March, the time that the debts are paid. The Ides, and see if any debts are paid. I saw that a drone had been shot down or knocked down or something happened to it over the Black Sea. And immediately the war machine goes into effect. And I made a joke in a chat, I think it was. It's, okay, banking crisis averted. Man, blending words. Leaking out information. I'm leaking out stuff. Truth, Cliff High's data, the linguistics. I'm leaking it out. Tune into me. I'm psychically predicting things. I don't know. But you're looking at... the banking crisis has been averted. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming, and that is war. So we got to get the war back in the mainstream and the limelight, get that kicked off again. How many times did that drone have to fly around before it hit that Russian jet? That's all I got to ask. So, Biden was in California. Interesting thing about California, I think he was meeting with Governor Newsom. Look at the connections to the Pelosi family at Newsom. And wasn't Newsom's wife abused or, had an incident with Harvey Weinstein? Or maybe I'm wrong. I'm thinking that happened at a party or something at one point. It's all connected. They're all family. It's just swap here and there. Whatever. But you've got Newsom, who had money in that bank. And, he's lobbying, hey, save that bank. Save that, Silicon Valley Bank. Well, he had a vested interest in it. And then it turns out they spent millions, funding Black Lives Matter and some other of these organizations. But we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to save the bank and all these people who were way over leveraged and very wealthy and had money in it. And, government's got your back. It's got two hands on your shoulders right behind you. Just be careful. So Biden was out there talking about gun problems, how we need to, have everybody gun checks and, guns are the problem now. I don't know. It's just, but the one thing I take out of that is he signed an executive order to supposedly enforce the law to the fullest extent. But one of the things he likes to promote are the red flag laws or statutes or mandates, whatever you want to call them. And what that does, that allows you to go in, a government or a judge, to take someone's guns preemptively. Now, that's a little bit of a problem. That's pre-crime. And some people will agree with that. Hey, this person's mentally unstable. They shouldn't have guns. Well, who defines mentally unstable? Who defines that they are a threat? And who says that they're going to use those weapons? I mean, if we had that criteria, you know, we should red flag all of Congress. We should red flag everybody in the White House. But that's a dangerous precedent to set, I think, to where you have a quote justice system coming in and taking people's private property, something enshrined in the Constitution and the Second Amendment, to where they're deemed too dangerous. Well, what's dangerous? And defining that is, you know, who defines it? Got a problem with that. Just pay attention. Red flag laws, kind of dangerous. Back to the banking system, we'll jump back. They said there's not going to be a bailout, and yet they bailed out and backstopped banks. You can call it whatever you want. The fact is they're going to create money to back up money that really doesn't exist because the cash doesn't exist. It's not in the bank. Okay, and it's a Federal Reserve note, so it comes from a Federal Reserve bank. It's not constitutional money. What's constitutional money? Something you can hold in your possession, gold, silver. And I would make the argument that crypto could be a constitutional money because it's purely defined through code, through mathematics. You know how many Bitcoin are going to exist. You know how many Litecoin are going to exist. You know how they come into existence. You can't rush it. You can't hurry it up. It's a fixed timeline. Every time a block of transactions comes out, new Litecoin is emitted and rewarded to those people who were supporting the network, the miners. So, I mean, it's kind of a new form of perfect money, and that's why I talk about it so much. That's why I really like Litecoin. I like certainty, and markets like certainty. I like certainty. I like to know that if I go get something, it can't just be created out of nothing. There's only so much gold to go around. Okay, I'd be more of a fan of gold, but you can always mine more gold. Same with silver. You can mine more silver. Yeah, there's a certain supply of it, but how much is it? And so at some point, I think they're going to have to do something with the money. And I don't know if it's a great reset, you know, where they back it by gold to give confidence, or they back it by some precious metal, they back it with energy, they back it with something. But I think at some point they're going to have to do that. However, there is a way to do that now. I mean, if you look at a Bitcoin, you look at a Litecoin, and you look at that code, you know how many there are. Well, you can use that as a reserve currency, can't you? I would think so. Problem that the banksters have, the problem that the governments have, is that they don't have their hands on it yet. So they might want to take you back to a gold standard and say, look, the money's fine, it's backed by gold. Well, the thing is, if they own 90% of the gold, it's got to meet the new boss, same as the old boss situation, right? You know, they can control the whole supply of it. They can flood the market with it. You know, and I don't know what percentage they own, but there's been some indications that it's been leaving the market. It's been going into, I don't know whose hands. But whoever holds it is going to make the rules. So I don't know that that's really the answer. Even crypto, you know, a lot of people, there's a lot of big wallets out there that hold a lot of Bitcoin, that hold a lot of Litecoin. And so it's a matter of who owns it, who has it, and we don't know. You know, it's in a wallet. Until somebody transacts with it and puts a name to it, we don't know. It all comes down to this, though. If you've got faith in the existing system, if you believe that the existing system works and it's going to be around and you're going to get your Social Security, your retirement's safe, they will probably continue to pay it. They'll continue to make sure that you're made whole. However, the purchasing power of that money that they create to backstop it, to make sure that it exists, is going to be worth less and less. So your purchasing power is going to get eroded. And they'll erode it because they create more money to back up the old money. See, the current monetary system, if you look at your dollar bills, it just says Federal Reserve note, which is a debt-based currency. It does not discharge debt. It is debt. It's created it's birthed into debt. You know, debt is attached to it. So let's start over. first dollar created, there's interest attached to it. So you got to pay back, let's say $1.05, 5% interest. Okay, where's the 5% come from if you pay that dollar back? It doesn't exist. So more debt has to be created, more money has to be created to service that debt, and so on and so on and so on until you get a $30 trillion debt, of the government. It will continue, and it will continue going like this until it stops, until the empire falls apart. And I think you're seeing that now with countries trying to get away from the dollar, forming new alliances, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, other countries joining it to get out of that dollar-based system. And, maybe they're just looking for a fair monetary system, for their assets, for the things they produce, for their labor, for their natural gas, for their oil, whatever it may be, for their technology that they produce. Maybe they just want to get paid in sound assets like I do, and like you do. Or maybe there's something nefarious going on. Hard to say. All I know is that I saw I don't know if it was a general or somebody yesterday after this drone was taken down, this is an aircraft, you can't do this, you can't shoot this down, and thinking, you're over there flying around, what do you think's going to happen? It's almost like, pulling a boat in the Gulf of Tonkin and blowing it up. It's almost like, maybe blowing up some towers and blaming it on somebody. It's creating foment, or allowing the Japanese to bomb Pearl Harbor, enticing them to do that, wanting them to do that so you can get into war. The takeaway from all this is that when they get desperate, they're going to start something. And so we just don't want to be sucked into that narrative that they're trying to push on us and tell us that this is really what's happening. The good thing is we've got more media sources, we've got more individuals that have platforms like this, and we can put our voices out there. So you've got actual reporters who are individuals who are the news now, rather than listening to the big mouthpieces sponsored by, all these pharmaceuticals. When you look at the commercials on the mainstream news, it's a whole different world now. So we've got the ability to make a decision. And in this time, that's really what it comes down to. You have to make a choice. You have all the information in front of you. You can go look it up. You can make your own decisions. You can use discernment. You can look inside. You can trust yourself and say, this doesn't feel right. I think I'm being conned. I think I'm being played. If you think you're being played, you probably are getting played. So go with your gut. Go with your instincts. Trust yourself. Don't let these people deceive you. Don't let them fool you. Don't let the price on the screen of a crypto or an ounce of silver or an ounce of gold determine the true value and the nature of what those things represent. They're sound money. They're sound money that you can use when that government fails. They're sound money in any country, any part of the world. It's not that you are carrying dollars that are getting eroded, or Japanese yen, or Mexican pesos or euros. It's not that. It can't be controlled by government. If you have it, you have it, and you can use it any way you want. No central bank can stop you. No government can stop you. That's the important thing. Have those types of assets as we go forward. Have them in your own possession, and you'll be good. And speaking of having things in your own possession, I talked about buying Litecoin last Friday when it was dying, going to zero, going to $36. I bought some off PayPal. The money came out of my banking account. I saw it come out on Friday, or maybe it was Saturday. I saw it come out, and I saw that I had it on my PayPal app, my wallet. It showed that I had the Litecoin, but I couldn't do anything with it, couldn't transfer it off. Well, today being Wednesday, Friday I purchased it, Wednesday it was available, and boom, it's right back in my wallet. Or I should say it's in my wallet. Take it off, get it in the wallet that you have custody over. So I got that Litecoin out. I'm still working on the Coinbase stuff. It's still not available. I purchased it Friday also. I have not seen it come out of the account, and Coinbase sent out a message that said, well, we're having problems with ACH transfers. It might take a few extra days, and they say normally it could take up to 10 business days, and it might take 1 or 2 more days in addition to that. So they're having issues. I don't know if it's a banking system. I don't know if it's them internally. All I know is that system's really inefficient. It does not get transferred immediately. It is it's a pretty clunky, unreliable system. And that's why I want my money in Litecoin. That's why I want to be able to transact in Litecoin, in cryptocurrency, because the network confirms it right away. And every 2.5 minutes, a Litecoin block comes out. It's boom. I can send it anywhere I want, any time of the day. You know, I don't have to worry about the bank being closed and ACH transactions clearing. Doesn't matter. Their system doesn't work well. Litecoin Network's been running over 11 years. Never had an issue. Continues to work. Send value anytime you want. 365 days a year. 366 on a leap year. And there's only so much to go around. Finite supply. Get a piece of that pie. All right. Looking at Litecoin if you haven't. Looking to get in some physical silver if you haven't. Look into sound assets, getting them into your possession. Now is not a time to be monkeying around. Now is not a time to be dependent upon a vampire casino that they just keep rewriting the rules on. And that's what they've been doing. And you're seeing it firsthand with this bank in California, with this bank, the Signature Bank. I mean, with all the banks that are about to crash. I mean, you're going to see them just completely rewrite the rules. Seek out those things that already have the rules written. Then you can play the game because you know the rules. All right, hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Trust yourselves. Always trust yourselves. And beware the Ides of March. All right, love you all. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day.